Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg, right from Las Vegas. Good morning, Hank.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is an exciting couple days with these baseball Game 5s. Even the WNBA goes into Game 5. It's going to be interesting couple days.
Yeah, I tell you, I got well Monday night for the weekend between Sunday night and Monday night. The Monday night game, I really cleaned up, and I had the under and I had the winner. That team's really good. This week I'm looking forward to the Rams in San Francisco. That's going to be a big game to determine superiority out west.
Sure is.
And I'll tell you something, San Francisco's loaded right now. They're playing very well. I'm a little concerned about their fullback who got hurt the other night, but I don't know if he's playing or not. But, you know, if you look at the Rams, they've given up 92 points the last two games.
Yeah,
something wrong with the defense.
Defense hasn't been good, right? Yep. Well, what do you think of the Cleveland Browns?
I don't think much of them. They have no offensive line. They can't protect the quarterback. The quarterback's a little screwy, and I think I think they've got real problems, and they're playing Seattle this week, and a lot of people like the Browns, but that they'll rebound. That they're an up and down team, but I think the coach is over his head. And I haven't changed my opinion from the beginning of the season. I thought they were overrated. The quarterback, it's interesting, the criticism of him. He's not tall. He doesn't have the ability that other guys his size have because he can't see over the onrushing defensive lineman, and he doesn't get protection. And he's not fast. So when he goes outside, defensive linemen can outrun him. So that's a big problem, and they have a good running back, but right now I think they're overmatched, and they're playing a tough schedule. And they've got a very tough schedule.
Yeah, and they got a tough guy coming in to play him this week too, in Russell Wilson. And the line is kind of inviting you to take Seattle. Russell Wilson is having his best year right now, statistically. I know.
He has not thrown an interception, I don't think.
And he's hitting over 70% of his passes. He's quite a remarkable guy.
And Pete's done a great job with the defense that isn't as well stocked as it used to be. So we'll see what happens in that game. They don't travel that well going east, but I don't know. I just think everybody's in love with this Cleveland team, and I think they're going to be jilted in the long run. But, with all of it, that division isn't very strong. No. I feel bad for Pittsburgh. They have to go out and play San Diego there you go. They have to go play the Chargers this week. And they had a good thing going with Rudolph. And their defense is playing pretty decently. But the Chargers are really beaten up too. I think that Pittsburgh's got a live chance. Rumors circulated this week about the Pittsburgh coach being chased by Washington for the job there, and he said that he denied it and said that he's got his hands full this week going to play the Chargers out west with his third-string quarterback.
Yeah, you got Pittsburgh's down to their third string, like you said. The kid didn't play too badly coming out of Sanford. He looked decent. And they got it to overtime. It was a tough loss for Pittsburgh, but it was a good game. Dallas coming off 3 wins when they played the Washington Giants in Miami, but the last 2 weeks against decent competition, they have not stepped up, and they certainly didn't step up until they were down like almost 30 points against Green Bay.
Well, their defense did not do very well against Green Bay's running attack. Jones just gashed him. And Green Bay's defense played very well against them early, and then Dallas got back into the game. But, Prescott should have been intercepted 5 times. 2 of the interceptions were called back by penalties.
Wow.
But now he's going up against the Jets. And the Jets are going to have their quarterback, the young quarterback, but I don't think that's going to matter.
No, I don't either. I doubt very much he's going to be in great shape. He's certainly not. His timing's not going to be that great. And Dallas has a lot better tools than the Jets, no matter what. And it's just Jets are one of the 5 or 6 really bad teams in the league, even with their starting quarterback. But like you said, the Rams in San Francisco is definitely the marquee matchup. A lot of people are going to look at the Minnesota-Philadelphia game as a marquee matchup too, because they're 2 of the better teams in the league. At least they were touted to be going into the season. But as you said many times, Minnesota Cousins doesn't play that well against top-ranked teams.
He plays well against this team. This is one team that he has always played well against. And he's got the 2 great receivers going against a weak Philadelphia pass defense. This is a team he's beaten 3 times in a row now. And for whatever reason, he has Philadelphia's number.
That's interesting. What do you think of the Kansas City team? They seem to not be quite in meshing. They got some injuries, and Mahomes also is a little banged up, and now they're going to take on Houston, who did a job on Atlanta last week.
I think Kansas City may be getting their top receiver back this week. That'll make a difference because he hasn't had much to work with. And Mahomes is going to play. And if they get this guy back, he's got speed, and that gives them their quickness advantage back. And I wouldn't go against Kansas City. That's a tough game. Although, with all the good offense that they played, they gave up a lot on defense last week. Talking about Houston, so we'll see. I don't have a lot of confidence in Houston on the road.
No, but it's 2 young quarterbacks that are, very, very good quarterbacks. It's a great matchup with Mahomes against Watson. Other than, when you talk about the coaching matchup, that favors Kansas City quite a bit. But we got another game, a very early game in this week. It's 6:30 in the morning, our time, Sunday. Carolina and Tampa in London. Tampa beat them earlier this season, so it sets up a revenge game for Carolina. Christian McCaffrey has been absolutely amazing for them. I don't know how long he'll hold up with the amount of touches he gets every game, but he's been incredible.
He cramped a little bit last week, but he's fine. And I noticed the other night that the tight end for Tampa Bay caught a ground rule double or something, whatever it was, in the outfield. Why isn't he in London? This is another team that's shipping late. And they're 0-2 in games played in London, Tampa Bay is. Carolina right now is playing very well. North Turner has done a great job with this quarterback. And, of course, he's got probably right now the hottest running back in the league. And their defense is playing better. And I can't see them getting swept by Tampa Bay. I just can't. And I think they're favored very slightly in the game. And I think right now this team is playing extremely well, and they're living up to what preseason expectations are. They're going to have an interesting decision to make when Cam gets healthy, if he does get healthy before the season's out. He's got an injury that, listening to former players, is very tough to get over. But they're in good hands with this quarterback who's doing a heck of a job right now. He's undefeated in 4 starts.
Talking about a quarterback that's doing a heck of a job filling in, Teddy Bridgewater has been amazing.
Yeah, and they play Jacksonville this week on the road. And last week Bridgewater stopped just throwing short passes. They turned him loose and let him go over the top, and he was very accurate with the deep ball too. He's not really a backup. He's a starting quarterback who came off an injury, and he's basically a starter who had a bad break injury-wise, and he's come back and played like what he was supposed to be. He's a starter playing in a backup role with a Hall of Fame quarterback ahead of him. And he's going to be a starter for some team next year. But he's going into Jacksonville with a quarterback who's been playing extremely well, a rookie, who's going up against a tough defense. And that's kind of a pick-em game. I guess people aren't believing Bridgewater yet. That's going to be a good game too. There's a lot of good matchups this week. With that, between San Francisco and the Rams, the interest in the Seattle-Cleveland game, and the Philadelphia-Minnesota game, and then there's the bottom of the barrel game, Washington and Miami.
Oh my God! Yeah.
By the way, the Monday night game is good. Detroit and Green Bay will be a good game. Detroit has beaten Green Bay 3 straight times.
Is that right? I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah, and Green Bay lit up Dallas last week, and Detroit played very well against Kansas City a couple of weeks ago, and they blew it at the end. But they played very well. They've been playing well this year. That should be a good game. Originally that was a 6-point line. Now looking at 4, so it's a lot of people took that bigger number, but I don't know where it'll measure out now with this new number. What do you think of this? Denver finally came up with a win last week. Now, they had played a couple games where they could have won, but got unlucky at the end. And now play Tennessee, who's really a Jekyll and Hyde. You just never know what you're going to get out of Tennessee.
Well, Tennessee had a bad break with their kicking game. The guy missed 4 field between extra points and field goals. He missed 4 kicks last week. Otherwise, Tennessee could have won that game against Buffalo. Now they come into Denver, with signing another kicker. They cut the guy who missed the 4 kicks last week. So, but Tennessee and Buffalo figured to be a low-scoring game, which is what it was. But in a game like that, you got to have a kicker. Yeah. A guy misses 4 kicks. That's the difference between winning and losing a game like that.
And now he's unemployed. and which he should be. We do that. Well, what do you think in college? We got the Red River.
By the way, Denver. I think Denver might be on a way towards turning their season around. Because Flacco, as I've been saying this, has not been playing that badly, and they've got a decent running game, and they always have been regarded as a good defensive team. And last week against the Chargers, they really shut the Chargers down. The Chargers are in trouble.
They really are. They absolutely are. Yeah, Denver could have won 2 of the other 4 games that they lost. I mean, they're 1-4, but they could easily be 3-2. They're better than what their record shows. Tennessee's dangerous. They got a good coach, and the question mark's always been the quarterback, but with the kicker last week, that didn't help them at all. But that's a big game. Denver coming home they haven't won a home game yet. Fangio is the head coach. He certainly wants to win a home game for sure to get that off his shoulders. But what do you think of the college card this week? We have the Red River Shootout, Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah. That should be a good one.
That's a great game. Oklahoma, Texas always gives them trouble, and that's the premier matchup. That's a great game. There's some other good games this week. Iowa State, West Virginia is an interesting one. Utah is playing Oregon State. The Washington Arizona game is a good one out west.
Yeah.
And Michigan State, Wisconsin. I think we'll find out a little more about Wisconsin this week going against Michigan State, which is not a bad defense and very well coached. But Wisconsin's got that running back. And the big game in the Southeast this week is Florida LSU.
That's a huge game. LSU has been a monster this year, and Florida comes off that win over Auburn, which was pretty impressive. So that there are some good games this weekend, and I know you're cranked up to knock off some winners, and as well as I am. I've been working hard on them as well as you, and all the plays will be available at jimfeist.com. And Hank, you got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm looking forward to the baseball games today.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
I think that Minnesota has set a record they can't be too proud of.
No.
They have now lost 16 straight postseason games.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But now, the question with the Yankees is, what's the 4-day layoff going to mean? I was watching, Fox has a real good post-game show with A-Rod and the old Red Sox star. Those guys are very good analytically. And A-Rod says that it's tough sitting around for 4 days to get back in a groove when you're idle. And he said that could affect him, although the Yankees pitching really came up strong against Minnesota. But the hitting, gets out of sorts when you get that much time off. So we'll see how that affects them. But the Houston has been outscored, I guess, the last two games 14-4 by Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is a dangerous little team. They don't have a very big budget. They don't get a lot of fan support, but they are a dangerous little team, and they used that bullpen scenario yesterday, and each time the batter came up, he had a new pitcher to face, and there's an advantage in that for the pitcher, because if a hitter starts seeing a guy 3 times through the rotation in a game, he picks up some tells and helps them. But Tampa Bay used that to their and Verlander just had nothing on the 3 days rest. I didn't understand. Yep. I know you didn't agree with what they did, and I didn't either. The guy all season long he went on 4 or 5 days rest, and yesterday 3 days rest, and boy, it showed. He didn't have it. And I think A.J. Hintz put himself in a bad spot. Now it's a 1-game playoff, and I'll tell you, Cole has been amazing. But this Glasnow guy, he probably has the best stuff on the Rays staff. And
now Houston goes home. Could be a different story, but I admire Tampa Bay. The hitters are coming through for them in the clutch, and they're playing very well defensively. They're a scrappy team, but I think Houston should be a strong favorite at home.
Well, they are. They're laying 260 favorite, and the Washington Dodger game today, Strasburger against Buehler. That's another. I mean, none of these games are. A lot of people think just because they're at home they're going to win. That's not always the case. But
I like Washington right along, and they came through in Game 4, and I think I know you got Kershaw coming out of the bullpen in this game, but he has a habit of not doing so well in games like this. So I'm staying with my Washington pick.
I don't blame you. I think Dodgers have made some mistakes throughout the year, and I don't think they shored up their bullpen well enough. And I've been saying, and you've been saying for months that their bullpen could do them in. And here you are in a 1-game scenario where your bullpen's going to matter. And well, I tell you, some of these teams that had an advantage have not played it very well. So let's see how that turns out. It's going to be a great day to watch some baseball games. Hank, have a great weekend or week. I'll talk to you Friday again.
Okay, Jim.
Thank you, Hank. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And Glad you tuned in. I hope you got some good info from the podcast, and we'll be back again tomorrow with another one. And also on Friday, we'll have Hank back on. And go to the website, jimfeist.com. You can get all of our plays there. And you can also register for a free play each and every day. Just go to the website and take care of that business, and we'll talk to you soon.